Yo, what's good? What's happening? We back, brand new episode of Black Otakus of Culture. Of course, it's your boy Chris J. Got the boy Sav here.
Yeah.
We got Cam here.
Yo.
And we back 3 weeks in a row. Third episode of 2023 year. And right before we get
Hold on, I gotta apologize. At the time of this video, it's gonna be out, but like I was lazy as hell this week. I had a lot of shit going on for work, so I did not do any editing whatsoever
okay.
at all with our last episode with DC. But by the time this comes out, it's gonna be dropped. I basically just combined all, because I was planning on doing like I always do. I always separate the parts like with Crackin and everything like that. I ain't doing it for this one. Everything is combined, so it's gonna be like an hour long video. I'm gonna call it the lazy edit podcast, but like and shit happened, and I was like, I will Friday especially, because I was planning on editing the video on Friday. Yeah. But after work, couldn't do it. Just put it plainly. After work, I couldn't do it. Put it plainly. So, but it should be out by the time this video is out. The episode that we had with DC is going to be out. So.
All right, cool. So gonna look out for that. Shit happens. Plus, we're all hard-working men here. But before that, we gotta make sure we already told the man happy birthday beforehand, but Datro's birthday was just this past week. Got to get the man's flowers. The man is 27 years old, man. So
I'm so glad that Chris didn't just mess up my age. No cursing. 2023. I'm on it. I'm so glad that Chris didn't mess up my age. But yeah, 27. Really don't feel no different from 25. Feel a little bit different from a dub, but nothing too changed. But at least I'm not gonna be the big 3-0 for a long time.
My man Chris got less than a month.
Ticking, G.
He got less than a month.
I got a month
to hang out.
I got a month and 3 days. A month and 3 days.
Yeah, you got a month.
Do your knees be popping now? Do every time you get up, you up?
Gee, I played football in high school. G, my knees been popping. G, what the fuck you mean?
Yeah,
knees been popping, shoulders been popping. G, shit.
His barbecue skills got a tad bit better for some reason. You didn't even know it.
Barbecue and cooking, G.
My man showed up to the crib with a brisket.
Chicken, G.
Every time you go on social media, you be like, man, these young people these days.
Yes. Yes, that's the unfortunate part. I'll be like, damn, I really hate young people.
Well, I agree.
I was talking to the my Uber driver yesterday, G. This was one of the most funniest Uber drivers I ever had. And I'm not going to sit there and say the conversation, because for a gay dude, this nigga was problematic as fuck. Like, I was just like, yo, I thought the mafia was tighter than this. That's all I'm going to say. I thought the mafia was tighter than this, G. So, but yeah, man, I'm at that point in life. It is what it is, though. But I'm embracing it. It is what it is. But let's go ahead and get right into this episode with what's cracking. We are in week 2 of this anime season. So mostly everything that is supposed to be out is out. Even Hulu decided to drop something that should have been dropped 2 seasons ago, but we're just going to add that to what it is. But everything that's supposed to be out is out. Vinland Saga's out because Netflix was about to catch these bars.
Shout out to Crunchyroll.
Definitely shout out to Crunchyroll
because it's on Crunchyroll, so you know I'm gonna be watching it through Crunchyroll.
Yeah, so because I didn't know at first, but I was like, oh, okay, they played the smart, so it is on Crunchyroll as well. But they did hype it up as a Netflix exclusive, which was weird. Tokyo Avengers is
I think it comes out early on Netflix than it do on Crunchyroll though. Because when I checked, Crunchyroll it still only has season 1. I'm like,
it's
what the
out
fuck
early
season
on
2?
Netflix. And then it comes later on Crunchyroll. So if
either way,
patient, you know, is what it is.
And nigga, be patient with the whole season. Ain't shit gearing up.
Is it at all?
Y'all finna learn how to play Stardew Valley, bro. It's all good.
Oh God, you about to learn.
This is Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon. About to learn what the ramifications of neglect and abuse does to the human soul. Bro. You ain't about to learn nothing.
It's all deep.
It's not about to be your favorite action show, man. You about to learn. Nigga, you about to get. They about to break some strongholds, nigga. they about to remove some callus from your hearts. Exactly. Hey, get prepared. Bring out some tissues. I think you know.
Yo, daddy
decent first episode.
You're about to get quality dialogue, G. Like the action that you got on this first episode. That's
definitely. I don't remember any action, so it definitely
really was no action. It was a sad, but it was an obvious thing.
That was the action.
It was like, oh, we live our days in peace. I'm sitting here like, yeah, your village go burn to the ground. The very next thing, your village is burned to the ground. I was like, okay, cool.
It was decent.
It's decent.
It wasn't like I do because I was talking to Dion and Dion told me, you know, later in the season or whatever, because I guess Velma Saga probably get like 3 big seasons. Other than that, we probably don't see a lot of it, like in terms of like continuously going. So later within this season 2, we would get more, you know, back to like Thorkel and Canute and stuff like that. But for now, this is basically like, you know, getting ready to have anime be your therapist for a day or something like that.
Your daddy dead and your daddy's killer dead. Deal with it.
Yeah. Nigga, your killer, bro, you let that nigga slide while your daddy was dead, bro. I wouldn't let that happen. You couldn't get your get back, bro. That's crazy.
You have to live with that.
Man, it's chopping trees.
You gotta live with it. But it was a decent episode. Shout out to Slade, folks. He thought he was gone. He thought he was gone, bro. When you keep running, okay? I'm gonna say that to your little sister. You keep running.
I'm gonna lie.
Screech in the back. You keep running, okay?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I lost a lot of respect because I know a lot of people in the country will comments was like, "Yo, this dude cold." But I was like, I lost a lot of respect for this man when he was just sitting there. When his mom was like, "You gotta live, bro. Like you need to take your sister and run. You gotta live." He just like.
Yeah, they shot your mama with an arrow. Over with. That was one of them times when anesthesia wasn't the thing. If she survived, she probably got tetanus at the end of it.
The anesthesia wasn't the thing for like 2 more centuries.
Man's let his little sister die, bro, and he could have prevented that. His
little sister had more heart than him.
What that axe for?
Right, like
it was like 3 niggas. What that axe for? Nigga, we dying together at this point. I ain't wrong.
Like little sister had more heart, more bravery, and this man just like. I was like, bro, this dude sucks.
He in the moment, a lot of people do a lot of things, but I can guarantee you this. Trail Savage picking 1 to 2 options. I'm going to fight before I die, or I'm going to run.
I'm going to take my little sister and we go run. Like, where we going?
Ain't the strongest individual. She is getting took, and we are sprinting. So, you know, shout out to bro. I don't know his name. Shout out to him, though. I'm calling Slade.
It's gonna be like 3 episodes. So I'm able to pronounce his name. So
it's like Einar, whatever.
Einar.
Yeah, like, Nordic too.
Not gonna tighten ass name.
But you know, shout out to us meeting Thorkel at the end. So cliffhanger. Not Thorkel, Thorfinn. God.
Yeah,
Thorfinn. Cliffhanger. You know, it was decent. You know, it wasn't nothing. You know. Groundbreaking or anything like that.
I like the opening. Opening was good.
Opening decent. Yeah, that's it. It was a quick watch.
Introducing a new character. That's how we got the introduction of a new character. And they trying to say, hey, here's the parallels between him and Thorfinn. You know, it's a little similar. I'm like, not really, but fuck dude, because yeah. But yeah, so shout out to Vinland Saga making his return. Tokyo Avengers is 2 episodes in. Second episode came out this afternoon.
I didn't see that. Well, I mean, I already know what happened, but you know.
But yeah, episode 1 you said what, Daytra?
What?
Tokyo Avengers.
Tokyo Avengers.
Oh, wait, it's back?
Yeah.
It's on Hulu.
I might. I might have to get into them. Oh, it's on Hulu. Never mind. Bro, every time somebody give me their Hulu, I try to log in. Everything always says it's too many motherfuckers, bro. Now look, I understand we ain't supposed to be password sharing. But why the fuck am I always live, bro? I am always sorry, no cursing in 2023. But I am always last. I'm not about to text nobody to tell them, hey, make some room for Trail. God damn it. Make some room for Trail.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can say they only allow maximum too because I gave my stuff to Chris. So
yeah, I don't know. It's probably devices too.
It might be devices too. You might have to device.
Because my YouTube TV, I don't even know like where it's spread out around, but I don't even know if Tyler was able to get in that joint. Did he ask you for yours, Chris?
No, he got into yours.
Oh, he got into mine. Because I'm like, I know I got mine on my phone, my computer, my TV, and then my parents got theirs on their TV. And I guess Tyler, so it's like 5. I don't know. I don't think YouTube TV cares.
One more.
I don't think YouTube TV cares because of the amount of money I freaking pay them. But
gee, they better be appreciative, nigga. That's all I'm gonna say. They better be freaking grateful, bro. And that bill comes out next week.
Yeah. Oh, don't get the. Remember I said I was gonna try out the 4K thing. It ain't worth it.
I'm not surprised it's not worth it. Cool.
It's only for sports, but it's not even like.
You get to see the sweat glistening off their skin as they pass.
Not even that. It's just like, what's the point?
Yeah,
the time I got it, it was literally just all number World Cup, and I'm like, not about to watch that. So.
Yeah. See, but anyway. But Tokyo Revengers is 2 episodes in. First episode just pretty much completes, just shows where shit left off with Takemichi. Like, oh yeah, we see who saved them. Then he goes back in time and realize, oh, I gotta fix shit. But in episode 2, we get introduced to the BDs, aka the Black Dragons.
Yeah, we get introduced to them.
Yeah, so so we do get some action, so something to look forward to on episode 2. But overall, it's been solid so far. Like,
good. I just say this, I wouldn't say it's a slow burner, but like this is probably, from what I can remember, because I still have to catch up on the manga because I haven't caught up yet. But for what I remember, this is probably like one of, if not like the best arc for Tokyo Revengers. That doesn't mean it gets bad.
Yeah, it's definitely
like, this arc to me. This is the arc that made me actually like Takemichi as a character.
Yes, this is what I tell people often. Is like he actually has a lot of maturing during this arc, and you will at least be like he becomes tolerable as a main character. So like you can't be mad at him. Plus, I like a lot of the characters that they do introduce throughout this arc too. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that. But if you look for a bunch of Mikey highlight tapes, you're not probably gonna get it in this arc. I'm just letting you niggas know that. This is a
Takemichi and like other. I don't want to spoil it, but this is a Takemichi and like an other lieutenant focused arc.
Yes.
Essentially, like, because a lot of the premise of, at least what I was getting with Tokyo Revengers, is like he's building his rapport within Tolman. So he's gonna be associated with a lot of other people besides Draken and Mikey because he's already cool with them. He's got to click with them, and he also has a Chifuyu, I think. He has Chifuyu.
Chifuyu, yeah.
So like he's building rapport with a lot of the other members of Tolman, and you kind of get to see the payoff with that as the series progresses.
Yep. What else? Before we started recording, I was watching episode 2 of Doing Toy with me, Miss Nakataro.
We ain't gotta. We ain't do that.
It's straightforward. No, nothing to explain.
We ain't gotta do season. Like season 2 recaps, we can do that shit at a later time. We ain't
really
gotta do
but
that shit.
Nothing hasn't been dropped yet. That's the best way to describe it. We have yet to drop nothing. Yeah. So moving on. Oh yeah. This goes straight into what we really here for.
Wait, nobody watched Stampede?
Oh, I watched episode 1. I didn't watch episode 2 yet.
I ain't watched episode 2 yet either. Have you seen the original, Chris?
I watched like the first 5 episodes. And then that's before Funimation, because then Funimation started getting funny. Yeah, that's when the merger started happening.
I watched the original. I like Trigon. This ain't. They're not telling the story the same as the original for some reason.
Some people are saying this is supposed to be the brotherhood of Trigon. So it's like a different retelling of it.
So it's supposed to follow the manga? Did the original not follow the manga?
Oh man,
I gotta look into it more.
That manga probably you probably can't even find that manga on Amazon or something. How old that joint is, bro? Dusted. But I don't know. Because when I was watching, I was like, we didn't know Vash had a brother this early and within one episode. We didn't know he had a brother. We didn't know what happened to his family this early.
Yeah, because they showed all of that. I was like,
they showed everything that was in episodes going towards the end because his brother was like the last villain of the show. But they did a good job. That animation for 3D animation is no excuses, by the way.
That's the new expectation now at this point, G.
It's really
like you have to do it like that.
It was amazing. Like when I think of some of the 3D stuff that came out within like the last 5 years, and I'm like, okay, it's bad, but it's getting better. I think it could be even more. Like it could be even better now. Like that animation was really, really good. You can tell it costed a lot of money just because how close to 2D it looks. But from the story itself, like it's like the same events of the original one, but just like it really felt like a brotherhood. Now that you say it, kind of like sped. I don't remember that first dude. I don't remember the first dude. The dude that's with old girl, the reporter, or whatever her name is, that's trying to find a good story. Y'all know I'm not good with names. I just call people folks half the time. But when it's like, I don't remember them meeting. I remember Vash meeting her this early, but they do a lot of episodic stuff before they become like a group. Like it would be like she meet Vash bodies these people and they go their separate ways, but they end up in the same town again because I don't think she know that's the real Vash, the Stampede, the tornado dude, whatever they call him, like the red tornado,
the human torpedo.
Red torpedo. So she don't know that's him yet. We got all this money on him. So definitely the storytelling is way different. But like I said, the animation really good. I would definitely say like the last act to like see if you want to watch the show, just watch that. It was very clean. The original, original Trigun is considered a classic among like especially like early 90s, 80s anime fans and stuff like that. It's up there with like the Berserks and the what's the dude Dracula? What's his shit called? Hellsling?
Oh, Hellsing.
Hellsing, yeah. Hellsing.
Hellsling and stuff like that. So if you and this is very westerny, so if you like western stuff, it's really good on that end too. I plan to keep watching unless I get bored. That's very easy for me when it comes to anime. I want to talk more during this portion. I've been trying to watch stuff instead of me just sitting down looking at my phone waiting for me to chime in on a video game or something. I want to talk more on this portion. But yeah, it's okay. I would definitely say give it a watch if you like the last one. Give it a 3-episode rule to see if it's something that you like. I doubt if they make a horrible remake. I doubt if they Tokyo Ghoul Redis or whatever the character was called. So yeah, that's it. That's it for that.
All right, cool. I just actually remember you guys actually bought One Piece Odyssey. Y'all go ahead and talk about that shit.
It's a JRPG. Let us listen to Velma.
Yeah, to be honest, there's not. I haven't played I couldn't even give a decent impression because I haven't played too much of it. I basically beat not the first story area because I didn't know this because when the game was being advertised, the main thing that they were talking about was that Alabasta, you get to do Alabasta again, which I don't know why that's a huge selling point. I'm of the mind that Alabasta, I'm not saying it's overrated, but it's not like It's not an arc that I go like.
I don't care for it.
Peak One Piece. It's like, it's what it is type shit. So I don't know like why they keep just like, oh, Alabasta, you could see Vivi again. It's like, I don't care about Vivi.
Like, see Vivi later. Like she pops up again.
I don't care about Vivi like that. Crocodile is not like compared to the villains that we've been getting in One Piece, especially in the New World. Come on now. But yeah, so but what they didn't say is like later on they released a trailer that basically is going to be 4 arcs that you get to replay from the perspective of post time skip the Straw Hat crew and pre time skip scenarios. So you have Alabasta, Water 7, and Marineford. Marineford I'm looking forward to because that you could do some pretty cool stuff with post time skip Luffy and Marineford. Like basically he wants to save Ace. I saw that like in the trailer. And then they also have Dressrosa as well. And they show Core Zone in the trailer as well, which was like, okay. So they're doing some, because the appeal of the game is that there's a chick on this island that has the ability to take your memories and like form them into like actual places. So that's how they go to Alabasta, Water 7, and all those other arcs. It's from their memories. And it's also because you start the game at like level 40 and you have all these abilities, and I'm like, they're gonna take this shit away. So basically Oda the the thing, but basically she touches all the Straw Hats, and then like their abilities are in these cubes and they get like spread throughout the island. So you have to go and collect your abilities again and level up and stuff like that. So that's kind of like,
hurt. Yes, I was terribly hurt.
I knew they were gonna do this shit because for people who need like a reference, this is very obscure, not obscure, but like, so if you remember, like 3 years ago, Koei Tecmo released this Fairy Tail game. It's branded as RPG. No one played the game basically. I'm sure y'all. I'm talking to you people who listen to it. You didn't play the game. I know you didn't play the game. But basically, at the start of that game, you start the game with like all these abilities. And it's like, oh man, it's really cool. And it's like, you're not gonna keep that stuff. So like when we started the game and like I'm seeing like Gear Second and all these abilities that Luffy has, I'm like, we not. And then I saw like the thing that said you at level 40. I'm like, we're not gonna keep this shit. We're not gonna keep this stuff.
Teasing me with a good time.
Yeah, you're not gonna stop this stuff. But I will say that there are some. It's very similar as far as like the gameplay to Fairy Tail in battle, but there are some unique differences. You can swap out like, so you start with, we don't have Brook yet, so we have everybody in the Straw Hat.
I don't think Brook is he gonna be fighting?
Yeah, he's a playable character.
He's a playable character.
He's a playable character.
I thought he was gonna be like the pet of the group. How you know in all JRPGs?
No, because then it would be, the thing would be uneven because like the power, speed, technique thing.
Oh, okay.
There's 3 power people. There's 3 speed people, so that's still, so you have Luffy. So what I'm saying is basically the way the battle is set up is that you have enemies have 3 types: power, speed, technique, and it's like a triangle. Think if I'm saying JRPG terms, but if you're a Fire Emblem fan, think of the weapon triangle, where basically sword beats axe, axe beats lance, lance beats sword. That's essentially what this is with the One Piece system, where you have power beats speed, speed beats technique, technique beats power. So you have 3 power characters in your crew: Luffy, Chopper, Sanji. You have 3 speed, which is Nami, Usopp, Frankie, and then you have technique, which is Zoro, Robin, and I'm assuming the last one is going to be Brook. That's why I think he's playable. So there's three even us across the board. So it's spread out where basically you can swap out your crew at any time, because the main thing is you want to exploit that weakness of that weapon triangle. And then you also it's like battle areas where like your crew's going to be spread out throughout the battle, and you can kind of like, enemies and crews are going to be spread out throughout the battle, and you can like position them to fight the enemies and stuff like that. So there's some strategy there. It's not like, for someone like me who's played a crap ton of JRPGs, it's not anything too complex. It's not anything that'll make you rack your brain. But it is something that kind of keeps you engaged in battle. It's not just I'm just gonna press X. You know, the video game like Pokemon. So you know,
that's how you fuck around and find out. My bad, no question for 2013. That's how you mess around and find out.
Because them enemies will exploit your weakness just as much as you exploit their weakness.
Hey, but the game is beautiful. I would say that I would die on that.
It's a
game is beautiful. Probably like the only thing
it is made like for the next gen consoles. Is not,
but a lot of games made for the next gen console is still ugly. Gotham Knights is PS5 game still ugly. I would say the only big thing I got a problem with is like the open world side of like Luffy moving.
Yeah.
You hold the analog stick and your camera becomes where you move when he runs. That's a big, I just don't like that. I just kind of wish it was more of a traditional way of like running around and stuff like that. Because there's a stark difference between that nigga running and walking in this game.
Yeah.
he walking.
He moves very slow. And I think you touched on something too. The open world traversal, I'm not a big fan of. Only because and the thing is that like obviously she steals their abilities, right? So he doesn't have once she steals your abilities, you don't have access to everything. But before then, a lot of the traversal stuff is like that. You remember the part where you have to go save Nami? It's like this man can stretch over there and then just go over it. Like Luffy can just stretch over literally and just fucking catapult himself to save Nami instead of walking around this whole thing to go save her. It's like
I think they would, if they thought more, they could have went crazy with just traversal in the game, period. Like,
and the thing is, they have a blueprint because they did that with World Seeker. World Seeker had Luffy doing a bunch of stuff, traversal options using his powers, and it's like, why did you take that? But
not only just that, the way you can switch between characters in the open world, right? Because there's gonna be a time you need Sanji to use his Sanji site to find fruit, I guess, or food, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's because I was looking at the trophy list to see if it was worth my time, and then you got to use Robin because she's archaeology and things of that nature. So it'll be thing you got to pick up with Robin. But if you're going around that route, wouldn't it have been crazy if Sanji can skywalk? Like literally skywalk across the map. If you use Frankie, would it have been crazy if Frankie turned to the motorcycle and just rooms, or Chopper turned to the big elk thing? Would it have been crazy if Frankie's whole purpose instead of fighting was for him to be the vehicle of the game? That would have been fire.
Man, like it's like you just look at it's like, man, do y'all realize the potential y'all have with these fucking characters, bro?
Especially like you said, Luffy can do the Spider-Man stuff with his arms. Not only that, he can use his fucking legs as jets. So it's not like is limited to what Luffy can do. I understand this is like they powered him down to early Luffy, but still, I don't know Zoro's traveling capabilities, but I'm pretty sure he can do something with them swords. So it's possible. Freaking Nami can ride on Zeus. Wait, does she even have Zeus?
I don't think she has Zeus in this game. I think in terms of timeline, which is it's really hard to do with stuff that's not canon with One Piece. Yeah. In terms of time, because they do reference Shiki. So apparently the movies are canon in this game, because I remember like Nami and Robin were talking, and they referenced the island that Shiki was on, and what was that? What's that freaking movie called? I forgot what it was called. Not Film Z. Something else.
No, not Red.
Not Red. It's the movie with Shiki where they had like the freaking mafia get up.
Is it World Strongest?
That was Gold.
That wasn't Gold.
Gold was the other dude.
Shiki was the dude with Shiki was the dude with the sword feet and like the little like the.
Was it World Strongest?
I think it was World Strongest.
Oh yeah, no, wait, World Strongest wasn't Mafia? I don't remember. Fuck.
It's when they had them suits on. And but like the black suits on. But yeah, anyway, they referenced that. So I don't know timeline. I think this probably takes place way before Wano. Hell, I don't even know if it's I don't even know if they do Dressrosa. But yeah, it's a decent game. I'd say that if you like JRPGs, there's something there. Like I said, it's not super complex, but it's not boring. The battles keep you engaged as far as like, swapping out party members, exploiting enemy weaknesses and things like that. So this is a game that'll keep you busy. For me, this game is just keeping me busy until Fire Emblem drops. So, and that drops next week.
Yeah, it's Strong World.
Yeah, Strong World. That's the title. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't really have. Like I said, I'm like 2 hours into the game, so I can't even give like a rating.
I think we, for the first time in forever, me and Cam at the same spot. I'm like 2 hours. After I got to the place, like home base, quote unquote, I went to that save beacon. That's why I left off. Yeah.
Oh, but I do want to. Before we move on to the Velma slander, I do want to. I do want to give a. I don't want to give it a shout out because it just makes my mouth hurt. But I do gotta give recognition to Bandai for the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot update. So recently, we got the PS5 update or upgrade for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So it's 60 frames per second. Everything's been improved, and it is a very because I have been prior to One Piece Odyssey, I have been replaying Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, so I was playing the PS4 version on my PS5. And so when I did the upgrade, I did it like 2 days ago. It is a big difference. A big difference in quality. Like 60 frames per second is smooth. The gameplay feels really solid. Like with 60 frames per second, the gameplay feels really good. Like it really feels like you're in like a high intense, fast paced Dragon Ball scenario, which is what I want. So that's cool. The Bardock DLC also dropped. It's 20. I didn't buy it yet because I still haven't even played the season 1 DLC yet, even though I bought that. So I'm not gonna spend money on something that I'm not gonna play. But I am enjoying the experience again. So I do gotta give credit to Bandai. This is, and it's free. Take note, Sega, you fucking clowns. It is a free upgrade. So if you have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and you got a PS5, I recommend, you ain't gotta play it, but I just say just read down, like get the free upgrade and just try it. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference as far as quality. It does feel like you're playing a different game. So big ups to Bandai. And we can now talk about her.
Oh man. So just the lead is, so at first I had no intentions of watching this shit at all because the trailer in itself.
I blame Daytrail. I blame Daytrail for being the pioneer.
Hey, when you go to heaven, and God asks, why did you watch that Velma show? You can't say, oh, Daytrail watched it. No, ain't that. My stuff, y'all know me. Y'all know me in this podcast. When I say something that's critically just destroyed, other than Marvel stuff, I go out there and I give it a shot just to see why these niggas trying. This was legit. This was legit. I was like, okay. Like,
oh my God.
I thought it was gonna be bad, but people say no hate watching. Look, okay.
That's what I was about to get to.
I can think higher ups in HBO know that this is a hate watching situation, because on Twitter they disable the comments. On YouTube, they disable the comments.
But you can disable the comments on Twitter.
They disable the comments. They disable the comments everywhere. So I'm pretty sure they knew that 90% of the people who are going to watch this show is going to hate watch the show. So they need to quit being pussies on that end. Sorry for cursing. Oh, no, he got a cat on the screen. They need to quit being pussies for that on that end. So, like, it is what it is. Like, this stuff is so... Like, oh, y'all hate watched it. Y'all made it trending #1 on HBO Max. Ooh, niggas hate watching season 8 of Game of Thrones. It took them
I was hate watching She-Hulk.
Hate watched She-Hulk. It took them a matter to do that. Hate watched Mulan when it came with Disney Plus. Hate watched bro, it was a lot of hate watching going on. It don't mean it's successful. Like if like what makes something successful is like good trending. Like there's a thing of good trending. Like Cyberpunk. That thing good trended when they made the anime. Like it made that successful. Like more people went to go watch it. This is not saying when animation fans, and this is different from anime fans. Like animation fans and anime fans are different. Like anime fans will rather you like you just say it's garbage, and they won't listen. Like they were like, all right, it's garbage. I'm not gonna watch it,
Right.
and they will form their opinion off of other people saying it's garbage.
Pretty
Animation fans are going to give it a shot.
We're gonna check it
what
out.
I mean by animation fans, I mean the people who like Hanna-Barbera stuff. So that's, OG Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, stuff like that. They're gonna go and watch it. Who like the new age stuff, like semi-new age stuff, Adventure Time,
regular show.
Stevie Universe. You got the new age stuff, Owl House, Shorty with the Frog, I forget her name. Just a whole bunch of like, man, I'm more of an animation fan than anything like on this podcast, but like, it's those fans are going to go out there and watch those shows, right? Just to see if it's good. And if it's garbage, it's garbage. Just like, it's a reason, like a lot of people watched Teen Titans Go when it first came out. Like, oh, this is garbage, don't support it. And they realized it was just kept being on TV. They just realized, why is it being on TV? Because niggas like, hey, y'all calling it bad just because y'all like the original Teen Titans.
But this shit was actually good.
Now, me personally, it's not my type of like comedy. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I just see some episodes and I laughed. Like I ain't gonna hold you.
I did too.
But it's not my type of comedy. But it's really, really good. And then like animation is at another renaissance phase, as much as people say or look at HBO Max and it's dying and stuff like that. A lot of like Adult Swim shows are getting extremely popular, who hold the adult animation down. And then you got stuff like this, people reusing IPs to make their show pop. You got like Netflix. Netflix is the horrible side of adult animation. That is horrible. Like every Netflix show from like the Brickleberry universe, I like Daniel Tosh. She never came out with that show. To the Big Mouth universe. I don't know why Big Mouth got a universe now, but they have a universe. Big Mouth universe. It's horrible. It's bad. It's nasty. Not funny. You would sit there, watch 12 episodes, and be like, dang it, I forgot I had to laugh. Now you have this, which it won't be the last of. We might get a dope Johnny Bravo, which could be fire and flame. Just imagine Johnny Bravo swiping on Tinder, bro.
But if I see HBO Max, I'm gonna lose faith.
Look, man, it'd be very hard. I don't even think you can make Johnny Bravo in this day and age. That's a creep at this point.
Can't, but
that's
I'm curious.
But they could base the show off of that.
Him being a creep.
Him being a creep.
It could work. Yeah, they're gonna call him John Dahmer. That nigga, you wanna watch TV? This is my favorite show.
but yeah, so going in, I think the bar was already in hell. What's her name?
Mindy.
Yeah, Mika. Yeah,
now,
whatever.
To give premise, because I haven't really watched that much of Office. I'm not saying I wasn't a big fan. When it comes to live action TV, I don't watch a lot of it. So I didn't watch a lot. I saw clips of like some of the shows, of some of the episodes, stuff like that. But I wasn't like watching it all the way through, right? I've never seen the Mindy Project, so I don't have any basis of that. And there's another show that she does called like the sex life of college girls, I think. I
watched one episode of that and I turned the shit off.
I haven't seen that show. So my knowledge of Mindy Kaling as a comedian is more so based off of the little that I saw in The Office and this show, Velma show. And I can say that based off those two criteria, I don't know, I haven't seen any of her stand-up stuff. I haven't seen any of that stuff. I don't know, because she's just an executive producer. I don't know if she's involved with the script writing or anything like that. But this show is where comedy goes to die. Is where this show. Now, I watched this show yesterday while me, Detrail, and Extra were playing competitive Overwatch. Those are two bad things you don't want to do. You know,
that's a nasty combination.
You don't want to watch Velma, and you don't want to play Overwatch too competitive. Those two things And I left the party with a nasty headache, bro. Afterwards, I had a nasty headache because and I had to watch What's New Scooby Doo. I had to watch a couple episodes of What's New Scooby Doo because I needed to hear that theme song because that theme song is top 5 of all time, and I needed to see some good Scooby Doo media. But that's just the premise of what I had. But I'm gonna let you cook first, Ditcher, because you watched it first, so you're the pioneer. So
that's unfortunate. Yeah, like I said, man, I watched this while I was at work. Because I was like, I know that is getting I watched it. I think as soon as it dropped too. You know, I know it's about to get hate watched, so I wanted to watch it before the hate watching and before the hate, thing. Because one thing I immediately don't take, because you don't hear me as much as I slander Marvel, right? I don't go on the side of, oh, it's too woke, oh, it's too this and that. And I'm a lot of that stuff is just disingenuous and kind of bigoted. So I'm I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? I just like good storytelling. So I don't really care if they made this person that, they made this person that. I have no problem with making characters. Yeah, if the story is good, I have no problem making traditionally white characters black or just keeping them traditionally white. I don't care as long as the story good. When you start changing black characters, it's a whole different conversation. But I really don't care. I really don't care if you race swapped every single person in that show, including Scooby, even though he's not in it. You made him a cat. I would not care. As long as the story's good, right? But this, and I'm not even a race swap, because Shaggy as Norville is such aside from one line, you would not care anything of what Shaggy.
I don't associate him with Shaggy, bro. He's a new character.
Yeah,
that's a bitch ass nigga right there.
Norville remind me, if you ever watch 16, Norville remind me of the black dude on 16.
Oh yeah.
And particularly before he found his black woman. There was a time he only liked the white women. And he was just not a good character.
But then as soon as he found that queen,
he found him a black woman. He found him a queen. And he became cool. He became the singing guy. When she dumped him, he was a little bit out of whack. But it was, was a thing. I hope I'm remembering that right. But he reminds me of folks off 16. Kind of sound the same too. Now, like I said, I don't care of how they do characters, but there's always a right way and a wrong way. Of course, yes, they're playing off the fact that it's never stated that Shaggy is a drug addict, right? But because he eats dog food and he eats a lot, we always think Shaggy is a drug addict. From growing up, we think he a drug addict. The live action people who play Shaggy looks like a drug addict. So, hey, he might be a drug addict. So they played off that and saying, oh, he's against drugs. Which we know the playoff at the end of the season is he gonna be doing drugs. So it is what it is. He has a munchy YouTube show. Come on. People but I can care less about Norville, right? My main thing is Velma as a character, and then the butchering of Fred as a character.
Oh,
not even God. Just Fred as a they destroyed Fred.
Pissed me off, bruh.
They portrayed Fred as the
straight cis white male. Straight cis white male.
I don't want to sound like a right podcast. That's what they did. But what they put their own stereotypes on the character for what to get the. It's so I don't know how to say it. They did the cis white male thing, but to make the main character of the show, one of the main characters of the show that is wild. You could have made the big villain that, right. And you poo poo.
Especially with Fred,
cis white male.
He's supposed to be part of the crew.
They basically gave him the cucking. They did look, they cucked Norville. This is how it is. But that's what happens when the nice guy like the girl, right? They cucked him because he's underdeveloped, so he's scared to take his clothes off because he's underdeveloped. He's a late puberty bloomer, which is wild.
It's not funny.
They made him a rich, snobby guy, which I don't think that was ever Fred. That was always kind of like Daphne, and that wasn't even Daphne at that point because Daphne was never mean to Velma or anything like that. But they made him that way. They made him kind of stupid, which Fred was always, other than Velma being really book smart, Fred was very street smart and very like intuitive. Like he would never get caught in no jam like the jam he got caught in now, bro. Just because somebody took a picture of him while he was in a bathroom. Like, okay, so he did that. They made him a pussy, which Fred, out of everybody in the mystery game, was the opposite of.
So let's press on that. So episode 1 of What's New Scooby-Doo. Episode 1 of What's New Scooby-Doo. They go to this fucking snow lodge, right? They're being chased by this snow monster thing, right? The whole gang is. It's about to attack Velma because Velma falls on the ground. It's about to attack Velma. Freddy shines his light bulb on it and says, "Hey, you come here. You come here." To protect Velma, and has the monster chase after him, in which results in him falling down a cliff and breaking his leg.
Fire, by the way. There's a scene in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo in which Fred stages a whole birthday party in honor of Velma because he's fucking Fred. Now, if you never watched Scooby-Doo and you just look at the groups, you would think that Fred is what Mindy Kaling and those writers thought Fred is. A white, rich boy. Because he wear a fucking ascot. Like, okay? But the only reason we know what an ascot is because the real nigga that we grew up with wears a freaking ascot.
Real one.
Like, Fred is the butcher in the Fred and the butcher in the Velma. And I get to Velma last. It's crazy. I'm not even going to synopsis about the plot. Cam can do that. I can tell her. But, so Daphne as a character, forgettable. Norville is forgettable too. Daphne is also forgettable because she's just popular Asian
and she's gay.
White woman who has 2 lesbian mothers who doesn't want that to define her. But but Daphne's also technically a lesbian too, so that's about to define her character within the show. It's kind of weird.
We stand for something.
Yeah, it's really weird. I did not know those cops was her mother. That's how void I was.
Me neither. That threw me off. I was like, huh?
Yeah, it's very weird. Like especially the parent foundation for all those characters. Something that we rarely see in the cartoons because these kids solving murders, you know, if these kids out here solving murders, you damn sure know these parents are not that much invested in their lives for them to be solving murders. But yeah, her parents are cops. One of them is voiced by Wanda Sykes. That's definitely, you about to know, is definitely what you about to get into when you see that, hear that. But look, I ain't got no problem with Wanda Sykes.
I ain't got no problem with it either.
The track record is crazy.
Wanda Sykes is cool, but in this case,
her track record is insane at the moment. But Daphne as a character is very missable. Now Velma as a character is very bad, and just a lot of like character traits, right? Not even just because it's Mindy whatever her name is, as Velma, but because what they have her do as a character arc, you don't like her. There are situations in movies, in TV shows, when you are watching a main character and you're not supposed to sympathize. Wolf of Wall Street. If you ever watch Wolf of Wall Street, if you somehow like fantasize yourself and liking the Murdoch guy, I forgot what the dude Leonardo DiCaprio played. You're not supposed to be like, oh man, I feel bad for him. You're supposed to be like, dang, that's a sick individual. He's a horrible person, and right. I'm glad he got what he got. But it's a biopic. So it's not necessarily telling you to, hey, root for him. It's just showing you his life, and it's an entertaining story. But I'm not about to be like, bro, man, free my nigga. Well, he already free. But at that time, free my nigga. No, I'm not. Now, as we look at like Mindy as a character, because of what she's going through, you'd think you're supposed to sympathize with her. Like, hey, look, man, I'm rooting for her to find out what's going on in her life. You don't do that. You don't do it at all. You kind of do it, especially when she super cuts Fred in that goddamn court scene. Bodied this man, lobotomized this man. It's her fault that he's there. And absolutely
you made it worse
for no reason. So to show you how bad of a character Velma is. So, and I know I didn't say there wasn't gonna be no plot situation. I don't care. So Velma was first framed for the murders,
right?
Because she is and this is horrible. I feel so sorry for Indian girls. And I know they go through stereotypes while growing up and stuff like that, but there was so much portrayed on her that she was ugly, has no fashion, hairy.
Let's portray an iconic character as an Indian, and instead of going against those stereotypes, let's go full frontal on the stereotypes as a fucking joke.
Yeah, horrible. Like,
especially who somebody, by the way, is extremely popular in cosplay world. People love Velma.
So, but they completely like give her all those bad stereotypes about Indian women instead of like focusing on the fact that if she's Indian, see Velma, who's the smartest person, smartest one in the school, Velma, who get cosplay more than Daphne because how conventionally attractive Velma is in these cosplays. You can make her conventionally attractive, but she also not the norm of wanting to be popular, wanting to do that. She's strictly a woman of science. And you can still do that by having an adult comedy. Like adult comedies don't have to be raunchy and full of freaking ha-ha-hee-hees. There's a lot of adult comedies that deal with like tough situations in different ways. Fuck Rick and Morty because of what the creator did. My bad for person, but Rick and Morty does at some episodes in which the comedy gets meta and they feeling themselves and they talk in the fourth wall, but they do tell stories within that, right? Same thing with BoJack Horseman, an adult comedy that everybody loves. Very depressing show, extremely depressing. It is not a show that you will walk out of and be like, man, I am confident in the person I am. But it's an adult comedy that jokes a lot, but also have like, feelings and these type of things and make you think as an adult because that's who's watching these shows, adults. And so on and so forth. Like, and then you can have comedies who don't take themselves seriously, like Smiling Friends. Don't take itself seriously. A purely episodic show that don't freaking matter. 15 minutes of just like, bro, what the heck I just watched? But it was funny. On this end, you want people to take you seriously because of the topics that you are addressing. And that's what makes it kind of salty. But let me get to my last point. So the cutting of Fred is what made me say this is the worst show that I've ever seen in my life, right? And I'm probably not even exaggerating. So Velma got framed for the murder. And Velma, whole plot of episode 1 is Velma trying to unframe herself, right? Because of the stereotypes that got around her, they framed Velma. So she suspects it's Fred. From very stupid plot reasons, she suspects it's Fred. Fred then tells her, it can't possibly be me because of the reason you see me act this way is because I am a late bloomer and so on and so forth. I want to be a man just like what my father wanted me to be. I want to be just like him, right? And she says a stupid comment about, oh, he's a DILF. I kid you not. DILF.
He says DILF. He says DILF City.
The word DILF has only been used on television. I don't think one person has referred to a man that's a father, and that looks like they like how, sometimes dudes refer to women as MILFs. I don't think a woman has ever said that about anybody. I think the word DILF was created by a guy, no cap. Now,
I've heard GILF more than DILF.
So he actually pours his heart out to her and say, look, this is the reason I am this way. It's like, and she was like, oh, so that's why the reason you killed him, right? She was like, no, I'm just gonna use my money and pay her off. Like, that's all I was gonna do. I don't want to kill her. I'm just gonna use my money. So Fred still goes to jail because of all that, even though he just basically said he didn't do it. Still go to jail. Then he lawyer up with her father, who's a lawyer.
Terrible character.
And horrible character too. And as they get to court, so with all that evidence And Velma knowing that he didn't kill her, and she basically gonna testify on his behalf and say the reason why. She come up and say, was something that Fred confided in her. Because all she had to say was, because the town is saying she the one who cracked the case and stuff like that. All she had to do was say, I got it wrong. But she went on there.
You also have to take into account, she poured her heart out to Fred. And later on in high school, when she was getting bullied, he went up and saved her. It's like, oh, she cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, also that, even though he couldn't remember her name. But she went and basically said, this rich, white, stereotypical man couldn't do these murders because he's a baby. He has baby legs and a small ding dong. He has no good seed about him to even. All he does is think about himself. Such and such and such.
Fuck the patriarchy.
It's absolutely body. But no, and he like, yo, I told you that in confidence. Like, I told you that in like as a me, you heart to heart, and you just do that to me. And so he goes to jail anyway.
Yeah, he gets mad. He goes like, I could have did it if I wanted to, and they go like, even though that's not how the court works, but immediately guilty, you're going to jail. And I was like, oh.
So he still go to jail off of what Velma did, and it's her fault. And they still want us to sympathize with Velma as a character. Don't know why, because there's nothing that Velma did. She talks crap about her father. The reason her mother gone is because of her.
Because of that.
Like everything in this show sucks because of Velma. I think she's not friends with Daphne no more because of her.
Well, no, now they are.
Daphne.
Now they are.
Now they are.
No, they're not friends. They're DeviantArt couples.
Mind you, they made this. They wanted to be Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy so bad. So bad as a TV show.
Bad.
They looked at, and the thing that makes Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy so good is that they take already established character and they just hyper them up. Like they just make them funny in terms of they still got their characteristic. Poison Ivy in that show hates humanity, but she deals with it because she loves Harley. Harley is trying to become what's that called? Anti-hero. She's a hero, but she's not a good guy, but she's still trying to find her way into that type of world, but she still has the side effects of being a sidekick to Joker. So she got to make her own name. Batman is still Batman, but the fact that his trauma is so bad that they just see him as an insecure person in a cape. Like, all those things are still there. Like, when Damian pops up in that show, Damian is a little brat who nobody wants to be around, but think he's a superhero because of his freaking father. So, like, everything is so funny. I don't even like the last season of Harley Quinn because I thought it was too much, scissoring. But it still leagues and heads and shoulders above what the heck I just watched. My apologies for taking and watching that show, but like I said, that's my biggest takeaway. This shit sucks. It's garbage. It stinks. It's caca. It's nasty. It's literally like, I would rather watch She-Hulk. I know. Cam said give him the gun if he had to choose between the two. But guess what? That is my gun. She-Hulk is my gun. That's going to be the thing that take me out. That'll be the one. Out of all the things that survive, me having to watch She-Hulk will be the one that takes me out. And I would rather watch that than Velma. So, yeah.
But that's a good comparison to leave off on, because I'll give my impressions, and Chris, you can give your impressions. I'll say my thing is, like, it's just like She-Hulk. This show is so desperate to be funny. It's desperate to be funny. Especially with the... It's like, do I blame Deadpool for this? I don't know if I blame Deadpool for this. As far as the mainstream media appeal, bro. But fourth wall is breaking jokes, meta comedy is not funny anymore. You gotta do it. You gotta do a real. I don't want to say clever, but you gotta do it in a way that's not obvious. Like in this show, there is a line by Norville where he literally goes like, something. It looks like they're selling drugs or something like that. Which I hate. And he stares into the camera, blinks, and the scene moves on.
Things is lying.
Like, a lot of the comedy in this show doesn't work because it's like it feels like they're so desperate to get a laugh at you. It's like the Disney approach to like what they do with the MCU, where it's like with Phase 4 they were just throwing a bunch of darts at the wall, and it was like, okay, Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, all this stuff, and then it's like they got one with Wakanda Forever, and it's okay, cool. As long as we just throw a bunch of stuff on the board, one of these jokes is gonna land. But in your case, you missed every single one, because I don't even think I cracked a you know what I'm saying? Like I don't even think I laughed once during those 2 episodes. It was not funny. You turned a character like Velma into one of the most unlikable pieces of trash ever. I was actively rooting against her in every scene that she's in. I don't want her to win. I don't want her to solve the mystery of her mother. I don't care about the mystery of her mother. You make that such a big deal in her character. I don't care. I don't care about her mom at all. I don't care about her as a character at all. I don't care about her dad, his bum ass girlfriend who's pregnant. All that stuff. It's bad. And like I said, I don't know if it's. I'm just using Mindy as the figurehead because that's how they propped the show's advertisement. Is that, oh, this is a project for Mindy. So I'm using her as a figurehead, but I'm speaking more so from the writers of this show. You guys aren't funny. And if she has input on it, she's not funny. Like I said, I don't have much input on her history as a comedian when it comes to the shows and the sitcoms that she has been a part of, but she's not funny. And the funny thing is that like she had, if we're talking strictly from a voice acting perspective, she does a good Velma voice. Like she has the Velma voice down packed. So she could be a good voice actress for Velma, but everything other than that is bad. Like honestly, even Constance Wu, who voices Daphne, she does a good Daphne voice. I don't know about Fred and Norville. I don't count those as good. Like, it feels like this show, and again, I don't even want to, like Latrell said, it's like, I hate to sound like those right-winged, but you can see a lot of the agendas, I'm using air quotes, when it comes to this show. I'm so tired of this whole, let's make fun of the white male patriarchy stuff. It's not funny anymore. It's corny at this point. Like, that was literally every single joke towards Fred when it came to the show was the fact that he's white and he's a man. Oh, but he's a pussy, he's a baby, blah blah blah. Like that whole court scene that Detroit was talking about, where she was basically ridiculing him, was literally just a fuck the white patriarchy moment. That's all it was. I mean, she even starts off with it. She even, before the court scene, when she goes in to look at the evidence to see if Fred didn't do it, she literally goes like, oh, he's a white male, he did it. Like, for you to try to put stuff into this show, right, when it comes to messages about this show, like Velma being Indian, right, and the fact that you yourself is a well-known, well-respected Indian actress / comedian, and you portray, you already have because Velma is an iconic character. She's a recognized female character. So she already has an established pedigree. So all you really had to do, you race swapping her, I didn't care. I don't care, right? As long as you make it work for the story and it makes sense within your story's universe, I don't mind.
And could have easily did that.
And you could have easily did that. Just, if you're gonna make her Indian, cool, fine. But to take all the aspects of Velma being a woman of science, being a great investigator, being extremely smart, being one of the forerunners of the Mystery Inc. Group, right? For you to take that character and basically go like sex jokes and hashtag me too, but she's Indian now too. It does a disservice not only to her established character within the franchise of Scooby-Doo, but to Indian women. Like, why would you portray your character? Why would you portray your race and your gender like that in the show? Makes no sense. Daphne, Like, they sure didn't touch much on Daphne, but Daphne is a well-established and iconic character too, in terms of the Scooby-Doo lore. Like, at first, during like the 60s cartoon, she was like your typical like damsel in distress. But as the shows progressed, she basically became the co-founder alongside Fred. And they had a good dynamic relationship when it came to the mystery crew. And for you to take those elements of her character and go like, okay, she's popular, she's mean, she sells drugs, she's Asian, and her parents are lesbians.
I'll be right back.
It does nothing for a character. I'm not gonna talk about Norville. Well, no, I am gonna talk about Norville, because this is one thing that pisses me off. And I was actually listening to a video about this. Shout out to Friendly Space Ninja, but it was one of the videos and he was doing a really great commentary when it comes to black characters within media. And I think Norville is a good representation of that, because once again, we have in this show that is trying to promote diversity and inclusion, we have a sidekick black character who's basically just comedy relief. Has no real characteristic other than the fact that he's a simp for Velma, and he's basically her comedic enhancer. So you make a black character in your show that's trying to promote diversity because you're making, Velma's Indian, Shaggy is half black, half white, and Daphne is Asian. So you give us a black character, but instead of making him something that's like, okay, cool, he's just a side character to enhance Velma. So you're doing a disservice to us. And Shaggy is an iconic character within cartoon media, because not only is Shaggy a great character, but he has a great relationship with Scooby-Doo, who is in the show, and you're proud of that. So my biggest complaints with this show is that, and this is a thing when it comes to a lot of adaptations nowadays, we think about the recent example being Halo. I'm tired of these studios taking adaptations of popular franchises and they're proudly going like, we're not gonna do the original source material. The stuff that made the things that made this series popular, we're going to actively ignore it and do the opposite of everything. Halo, Master Chief, a badass character who never takes his helmet off, in the first episode, takes his helmet off. Like, stop doing this. I think I'm gonna keep up with this show just because I do want to do something, because I think that She-Hulk and this show are like, in terms of live action, I think She-Hulk is like live action comedy. I think She-Hulk is the worst that we've gotten in recent years. I'm thinking Velma is the worst animation wise, and I honestly want to do a deep dive of those two series. Once Velma season 1 ends, I want to do a deep dive of those two series, not only to see how they fail comedically, but I want to compare them to see which one's the worst and which one that I would rather watch. Right now I would rather watch She-Hulk. That shit sucked. It was absolute garbage. But Velma is like unmistakably trash, and that's because from the perspective of She-Hulk, I didn't know much about her character, so it's like I can't really go like Chris, you do, but I don't know too much about She-Hulk's character to have any stock. But I was a fan. I grew up on Scooby-Doo. What's New Scooby-Doo, Mystery Incorporated, the movies. Like I love Scooby-Doo growing up, and to see like the butchering of this franchise when you really didn't have to do much, but you found a way to mess it up by making it an adult comedy. We also have to talk about, I'll do these two things and I'll let you cook, Chris. Two things. One, I need people to stop realizing that adult comedy is only reminiscent of fucking sex jokes. Like,
by the way, these are teenagers.
Sex jokes and drugs. Sex jokes and drugs doesn't make your show an adult. Like, I don't know, like, we're all adults on this podcast. Sex jokes and drugs aren't the only thing that make you an adult. It's this thing called life, jobs, responsibility, bills, rent, shit like that. That's adult. Sex and drugs, that's the type of shit that they taught us in high school to avoid when we become an adult. And you need to avoid that shit when it comes to comedy, because I don't find it funny anymore. You literally in the first 3 minutes of the show, you show two cockroaches fucking. And then number 2, like Chris just touched on, stop making adult comedies based off of kids in high school. What is wrong with you people? At least in anime, they call it shonen, which means it's for young boys. So they got that excuse. I don't know why in American comedy, American adult comedy, why we have, or not even just adult comedy, just a period when it comes to adult, you got like Riverdale on CW. They claim it's an adult show about kids in high school. Euphoria, adult show about kids in high school. And they were surprised that a lot of high schoolers like that show. Gee, I wonder fucking why. Like, and then you got this show, Velma. Stop basing adult shows on the premise of high schoolers. Cause it's weird. Make them based off in college or adults. So that's all I gotta say on this show. It's trash. It's garbage. It has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. I'll let you cook, Chris. Show's a 0. I know a lot of people don't like the rating of a 0, but the show is fundamentally broken. It doesn't work as a concept at all. There's nothing good about this show. I know a lot of people can go like, oh, but it's on HBO Max. You press play and it plays. There's 2 episodes. Each of them are 27 minutes long, so it works. No, it doesn't work. It's a 0 out of 10.
Man, look, y'all said a lot of things, man. I co-sign a lot of things. I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I have to, for content reasons, I have to do this. For content reasons. I'm like, how can I have this on my agenda? And it's like, we're going to talk and I have to talk about it. The clips was one thing. The screenshots of conversations was another. But I was just like, I have to do this. Woke up at 7 this morning because that's my wake up time for my body, despite me being off. I was like, none of the anime I'm looking for is uploaded yet. Fuck it. Let me watch this. I regret it. I should have forced myself back to sleep.
That was a waste of time.
I regret it. Like that first 10 minutes, I was like, "This some bullshit." The cockroach is humping. Velma's introduction and just like, what the fuck? And then just, I don't think, maybe when I left, y'all deep dove into Norville.
Yeah, I did. I basically just said that he's the stereotypical side black character to enhance the main character, who's usually a different race.
Yes,
we're always enhancement materials.
Yeah, it's called the magical Negro syndrome. But anyway, but I just want to focus on him for a bit because we deep hit. But it's just one thing about him that just triggered me. Yes, of course they made Shaggy black. Shaggy's real name is Norville, by the way. I had to check and be sure because some niggas was saying, no, it's real. I'm like, okay. Yeah, okay, you don't like drugs yet. Okay, cool. Clearly he doesn't have a dog. Okay, whatever. Let that slide. But this nigga's a fucking simp. And if you've been listening to us since day one, I hate simps. Made a list.
And OG Shaggy was no simp.
OG Shaggy
got bitches.
Had hoes. I remember movies had hoes.
He just be picking up chicks, bro.
Had hoes, G. Like Shaggy never had an issue picking up women, G. And not to sit there and downplay who Velma is, but this also adds on to how horrible of a character Velma is. So in the midst of her having one of her panic attacks, which I get, it happens. I've associated with people who've had panic attacks, and I had to talk them through it.
In the context of Velma, though, she deserves it.
Yes,
she deserves it.
This one definitely. I was like, especially when he was like, you know what, for a lot of people, when they have panic attacks, they need to be comforted. yes, one way is through laughter. Some is just knowing somebody cares about them and all of that. Shaggy chose the "I care about you" approach. And what does this version of Velma does, which is a very piece of shit, who does need to know somebody gives a fuck about you despite you being a very horrible human being. Shaggy says, "Hey, I rocked with you. I care about you." Out the bam.
She's like, haha, you're so funny. You're a comedian.
Nobody, you're so caught up in you being who you are that this simp ass nigga who is pouring his heart out, you think that's a joke. By the way, they really made sure, this is what goes back to another thing that makes this Velma a very piece of a shit. She fits the bill of a lot of, I won't say a lot, some nerdy women who think people really don't fuck with them, and when somebody do fuck with you, you don't appreciate. You think they're joking. So, in the midst of that, Shaggy looks like a goddamn dweeb and a simp.
No, he's not Shaggy. Do not disrespect.
I keep forgetting.
Do not disrespect Shaggy by calling him.
Apologies. You're right. Apology. It's just I see the green shirt, olive green shirt. Apologies. Norville is looking like, damn, this bitch really got me looking stupid as hell out here. You thought me just sitting there saying, like, low-key, like saying some genuine heartfelt shit, while you are on the verge of your heart imploding, you like, yeah.
He's like, oh, you're a comedian. She's like, if you didn't tell me you were that funny, I'd be all over you. I'm like, and then to add insult into injury, the last couple seconds of episode 2. Oh my god. Oh,
like, all it just further proved was that Velma is a horrible person, but Shaggy Norville deserves so much better. But he's looked at as the comedic Negro, the magical Negro, because he is the one that's going to look out for her. And then what makes it worse, on top of that, I think the end of episode 2, he looks worse when he's like, oh, let me go over, show her that I care. Let me put on this goofy ass Flavor Flav ass suit with roses, pull up and be like, and he sees her and Velma and Daphne kiss, and he's just looking stupid. That's why I was like, my boy. You butchered my boy.
Shout out to Raylo fans. Shout out to Raylo fans.
Butchered my boy.
You appeased a very specific demographic of Scooby-Doo fans that like no one really cares about. The Daphne x Velma shippers. It's like you can call me homophobic or not. I don't care if there's gay relationships. I have no problem with it. My thing is, if you're doing it to appease if you're doing it off the basis of like, oh, we know that there's some people who want Daphne and Velma to get together, it's disingenuous. And also in the context of the show, their relationship wasn't that established. They showed us like a couple pictures and a broken friendship pendant, and then they had like one incident where they fell on each other. It was like, oh, okay, they're in love now. It's like, here's the thing, here's a concept. Make them platonic, like the other Scooby-Doo shows. like that's how they're a really great group, because they were just a group of friends. Yeah, you had some iterations that might have made Daphne and Fred a couple, but like most of the Scooby-Doo stuff that I remember is they're all good friends.
Yep.
They're all good friends. They solve mysteries together, they kick it in the mystery van, and it's on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have romance in your comedy shows. You don't have to. You don't have to force romance at all. Like, I don't know why there's this mandate in every single piece of media, like especially I always go back to MCU because I just like referencing that from a mainstream point of view, where they just force romance. And the MCU in particular is terrible at it. MCU is bad at writing romance. I don't know if I ever touched upon this on the podcast, but like the only solid relationship It's Tony Stark and Pepper. Everything else is just, who cares?
For
maybe Ant-Man and Wasp, but everything else is just, I don't give a shit. It's really bad. So like, again, it's just like a lot of this show seems to be like they're trying to throw darts at the walls of like, okay, you know, let's try to appease this crowd because we think they'll like their show, but we got Daphne and Velma together, so you guys have to like this show. Or so if you don't like it, you're homophobic. So they cross one check out. 2, Velma's an Indian. So if you don't like Velma as a character, it's because she's Indian and you're racist. Cross that check out. Number 3, if you're mad about Fred's character in this show because of the way we portrayed him, you're a misogynistic pig. Cross that check out. So they're already doing this thing just like with She-Hulk, where it's like, you don't like She-Hulk, you're a misogynist. You know what I'm saying? So they're already creating this discourse amongst people who like the Velma show and people who don't like the Velma show, where it's like, well, if you don't like the show, you're racist, you're homophobic, you're misogynist, right? Just like the whole thing with She-Hulk. Chris, you were in the trenches with me too, bro. You're dealing with that.
Yeah, I was about to get to that.
We was in the trenches too.
That's how I was about to wrap up my thing.
I started to take over your
way,
time. Go crazy.
Just me watching this, I laughed one time. The one time I laughed, but it wasn't even something that was intentionally meant for me to laugh. It's just because Christian's extremely low bar of humor is so low, I will find somebody's leg falling off being funny.
Oh yeah, that when they did that joke.
Yeah, when Fred threw the thingy and dude's leg fell off, I laughed. I was like, oh, I was unexpected. Haha. That was a chuckle. It wasn't even a laugh, it was more of a chuckle. Now, we have compared this to She-Hulk. And me being in the trenches, I can sit here and say I had a genuine laughs with She-Hulk, and I was more entertained through the crap, the ass, and that was She-Hulk than I was with this. And She-Hulk was ass. Megan Thee Stallion ass. That's a lot of ass. But this is ass. This is horrible BBL ass.
Dr. Miami failed operation ass.
No, we ain't disrespecting Dr. Miami here.
I know.
We're talking Mississippi basement BBL ass.
No, I went to what out of, like, is it Brazil? I went to Brazil personally and got the
I went to Brazil, took a flight to Brazil, and I have to sit there for 2 weeks because my ass hurt ass. And then when I pop up in public, it don't look good. Ass. This is that type of ass. At least, like I could sit and say I laughed and I was entertained with She-Hulk. Despite how horrible it was, it's still horrible. But I see what they was trying to do. Because as somebody who is a She-Hulk fan, I'm like, I see, but the script and what y'all trying to do, the execution's horrible. But with this, I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do. Besides sit there and point all the woke social jokes that you're trying to throw out there and just trying to hope that they hit. This you did not hit. For somebody who laughs at anything, I laugh at anything. I did not laugh. If anything, I got annoyed. And more annoyed because I can't take that hour back. I can't. I couldn't. Immediately after that, I was like, you know what? I need something to cleanse myself. I needed something to cleanse myself. And I was like, oh, what can I watch? Matter of fact, no. I decided to watch LeBron highlights from 2012. I needed something to make me feel good. In 2012, LeBron made me feel good. So I was like, I'm going to watch highlights. Because I needed to see greatness. I need to see greatness on another scale. Because this is one of the worst experiences of my life. That's how bad it was, G. That's how bad it was. And I watched a lot of horrible things. Me and my girlfriend, our favorite pastimes is literally watching African comedies on Netflix. And those are a lot more entertaining. With horrible acting, but a lot more entertaining. I can't get this hour back. I can't. And I'm hurt by it, man. So that's unfortunate that this shit is so bad. It is bad. And people out here saying, oh, you guys are hate watching. And you're hate capping because you are capping hard for some bullshit. Simple as that. That's all I gotta say. I'm done. Wrap that shit up, man.
Yep.
All right, cool. We're gonna go into news, which ain't really much anyway. They did announce, just really some anime news. I already said it. Summertime Render is finally up on Hulu. All, I think 20-something episodes, I think it is. It's on up there. So feel free to check that out. There's also, I think, an English dub of it. So
shout out to that.
Get out. Johnny Young Bosch will be Vash again on the English dub for Stampede. So
that's a Johnny Young Bosch, bro.
Yep. Forever getting a check. Forever getting a check.
Getting a bag.
Look, man.
He just wrapped up Bleach. He like, all right, cool. On to the next one.
Hold on, shit. Who else throwing me a bag? Shit. Who else? You want me to be Vash again? All right, cool. You know what it is. Throw me the bag. I ain't mad at him. Never will be mad at him. But yeah, so that, and then I think they announced the PlayStation Plus for January as well. Let me pull that back up because this was actually a really decent lineup. Back for Blood will be Back for Blood. So if you haven't bought that, waiting for that to be free, that'll be available on PlayStation.
If you didn't own an Xbox or a PC, so you can get on Game Pass for free, you can get that.
There we go.
Mid-ass game now.
So go ahead and if you definitely need a zombie.
If you need a mid experience, you get that game.
There you go. You get it for free. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is free again. I feel like it's been free before.
Okay, I could have sworn. No, I don't think it was free on PlayStation Plus.
Okay, now it's been constantly on sale.
It's Xbox Game Pass. You can get it.
More than likely. Devil May Cry 5, the PS5 edition will be free as well.
Shout out to that. I can.
Yep, so.
And fuck Capcom for that, by the way.
Didn't they charge like full price?
Yeah, they charge full price for the special edition for Devil May Cry 5. So fuck you for that too, Capcom.
Nasty, but hey, if you enjoyed the greatness that was Devil May Cry 5, check that out. Life is Strange. If you need,
oh my god, I don't want to play Velma. I don't want to play Velma.
You got 2 Life is Strange games to deal with. So if you like extremely story-based games, there you go. You got something to take your time.
Good. I'm so good on those games, bro. I'm so good on those games.
There's a lot of shit. Oh no, some of this is being added too. I guess
it's probably being added to the preview and stuff.
Yeah, but also Just Cause 4, some game called Jet.
That was definitely free on PlayStation Plus at one point.
Yes, it was.
Just Cause 4 was on free PlayStation Plus.
So Just Cause 4, Jet, The Far Shore. I don't know what the fuck that is. Some indie title called Omno, Erica, and PlayStation Classics. They added Siphon Filter 3, Star Wars Demolition, and Hot Shots Golf 2. So there you go. So I will say that's a decent January list to work with. So something to look forward to.
Guess.
Yeah, nothing. That's it. But news-wise, this is a very dry week.
Oh no. Some did come up. Supposedly. So this is all allegedly. But I use air quotes when I say reputable source. But they supposedly they did leak the story for the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League from 4chan. Now I know a lot of people are gonna say it's alleged, but 4chan also leaked the script for Last of Us 2, and that's exactly what happened. Like
what happened to niggas?
4chan leaked that like Joel dies from a golf club. People were like that no way that happens, and it happened. So they did leak the premise of the story. Now story wise, how can I say this? If these are from if this story, again, this is all allegedly, so take it with a grain of salt. But if what I read is the story, then they've fallen from what they did with Arkham City specifically, because that game was fucking amazing. The story is bland. It sucks. From what like I said, if that's the story that we're getting, so it sucks. So spoiler alerts, maybe spoiler alerts. I don't know if it's spoiler alerts. Who cares? Essentially, like they said that basically you kill everybody in the Justice League except for Flash and Diana. So Wonder Woman and Flash, and then basically the story ends with a flashpoint. So like, everybody in the last mission is like a Halo Reach situation. Like if you remember the nigga Halo Reach, it was like a gauntlet, but you're supposed to die. Essentially, that's what it is. Where like basically, everybody on a Suicide Squad is gonna die at the end of the mission, and then the game ends with Diana telling Barry to do the flashpoint. Uninspired. Since Flash was in the game, I expect that. Like, it's at this point where I kind of don't want Flash to be in anything anymore because they always use him for the same thing. It's like, go back in time, Barry. Go back in time, Barry. Go back in time, Barry. It's like, can we use him for something else, please? But that's not what I want to. That's not what I want to touch about, right? If the story's good, who cares? Mid, whatever. Like I said, I have no my level of hype for this game is down severely. It's at the bottom of the barrel because we have gotten nothing about this game, and it's supposed to drop this year. And now there was a part 2 where apparently, and I fucking knew this. I called this stuff from rip. Basically, the reason why this game got delayed so much is because essentially this game was supposed to be a live service game in the model of Avengers. So if you don't remember, when Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, when they were announced, this was in the midst of the Avengers scenario going on. Mm-hmm. So when those 2 games got announced and we saw like early footage of the games, I was off bat, especially since they were going to be multiplayer co-op games. I was like, these are going to be live service games. It's essentially they were going to do a DCEU, where like the DCEU at its foundation was copying the MCU, because DC has no original bone in its fucking body. So essentially what ended up happening is they were like, they saw the fallout. Avengers failed. It sucks. It's garbage. I don't even know. I don't know, especially because Square Enix has been pulling the plug on a lot of their live service games lately, like a lot. Chocobo GP Racing, Babylon Falls. They just closed down this Bravely Default mobile game, and they also shut down their Battle Royale for Final Fantasy VII, Soldier First Class. Shut that down. I don't know why they haven't pulled the plug out on Avengers yet. I guess they want to release Captain Marvel, but at this point, nobody cares or is playing that game.
Did Spider-Man never come out on that?
Spider-Man came out, but nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Okay. It was just in my head. I'm like, did Spider-Man ever come out?
No one get it. It's a flop. So I don't know why they're so hesitant on pulling. Maybe they just don't want to admit to Disney that it's a fail. So it's like, okay, we gotta retain the Disney bag. So it's like they don't want to pull that plug yet. But basically, they saw that because me and Detro played Gotham Knights last year, a really bad mid game, and you can tell in that game was meant to be a live service game. You could tell the way that the collectibles were set up, the way that the skill tree was set up, the way that the costumes were set up in the game. you could tell that game's model base was supposed to be a live service game with live service elements equivalent to Avengers. And that's what they were going to do for, allegedly, again, supposedly that's what they were going to do for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, was that it's supposed to be a live service game in the model of the Avengers. But since they saw the fallout to that, that's a pull back, which is why there's been a bunch of delays. And we haven't really seen any gameplay for that game, any substantial gameplay for that game whatsoever. So again, 4chan leak, you can take it with a grain of salt, but there have been some things that came out through 4chan and it's been true. like regardless of what you want to say, I'm not saying this is a reputable source, but story-wise, if you want to say the story is cap, I don't care, whatever. But I'm more inclined to believe the games, the live service piece of that leak, because that's exactly what I had my expectation. That's what I had my thoughts on Gotham Knights when I was playing it. I was like, this wasn't the game that we were supposed to be playing. If Avengers had been successful, then Gotham Knights and, as a caveat, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League would have been two very different games that we would be playing right now. That we would have been playing, because that shit would have been ass, and I know I would have been playing that game. But yeah, I just want to talk about that. So with that news, bottom of the barrel. Like at first it was like at the bottom, but now it's at the bottom of the barrel. I don't care about this game at all. I don't care if it was made by Rocksteady. Yeah, they made the Arkham series. I liked Arkham Knights. I liked Arkham City. I didn't play Origins, and I liked Arkham Asylum, but it means nothing to me, bro. At this point, I don't dick ride gaming companies anymore. I don't, just because they make it. I love Persona, bro, but y'all be seeing I'll be saying fuck Atlas a lot, bro. Atlas and Sega, bro. They get the smoke when it comes to me, bro, because there are some scummy bastards when it comes to their DLC practices, when it comes to their upgrade from next gen. They suck at that stuff. So I'm done dick riding these gaming companies. I don't care if they made good games. You feel me? You see what dick riding companies get you in a position with Ubisoft, where that's another piece of gaming news, where Ubisoft has come out and said that they only got Assassin's Creed Mirage, Skull and Bones, which that shit's gonna fucking flop. No one cares about fucking Skull and Bones, and they got this new Star Wars game. If those three things fail, the CEO, the head of Ubisoft said, "Oh, we're screwed."
He told that to the developers. He said these games gone. Fuck.
Like, we're done. So if those games don't do good, that company, they said, bro, we're done. That's how much in the red they are as a company. So yeah, I would say for people who are still looking forward to Suicide Squad and the Justice League, I would say that if we don't get because when did we say it's supposed to be coming out, Chris? The game's supposed to be coming out
it just said 20. No, it didn't have a full release date. It said 2023.
Oh well, that shit might get delayed again, bro. Keeping them like if we don't
honestly, the fact that it doesn't have a release date,
and we haven't gotten any gameplay trailer, no significant gameplay trailer. We haven't gotten that, bro. We are in the dark with this game. So I would say this year specifically, if we don't get any substantial gameplay trailer, or like you know how they do the PlayStation Underground stuff, if we don't get none of that stuff this year, bro, wrap it up. Wrap it up, bro. But that's it for game. I just want to bring those two things up: the Ubisoft situation and the Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
I didn't even know Ubisoft was down bad like that. That's
no, their stock is in the red. It's bad right now. I think they said their stock went down 40% from last year.
Dang.
It's bad. That's why they delayed. And it's a good thing that they delayed Skull and Bones, because that game was dropping on the same. That game was supposed to come out on the same day or a day before. I think so. It was supposed to come out on November 8th, which Sonic Frontiers did. A day before God of War Ragnarok. A bootleg Black Flag side game mode was supposed to come out a day before God of War Ragnarok. That shit was going to fucking flop.
These developers don't love themselves. Gee, I stand by that. A lot like these. No, I would. No, not developers. I feel like developers do love
it's
themselves.
management. It's management.
It's the management and the publishers don't love themselves.
It's poor management.
Like,
the fact that the CEO himself came out and was like, "Oh no, yeah, we're screwed. If these three properties don't work out, I'm already knowing you need to discount Skull and Bones, bro. That game is not gonna do good. No one cares about that game. No one does. If I wanted to play Skull and Bones, I would replay Black Flag. I'm not gonna play a watered down version of that experience. So if Star Wars and Assassin's Creed Mirage fails, bro, oh yeah. And you might see Xbox or PlayStation acquires Ubisoft news.
That's what I was about to say. Sony is gonna be like, yeah, we'll take it. So that's just crazy and disgusting at the end of the day. But it is what it is, man. But well, we'll go in more detail on this on Threes from the Ring, so be on the lookout for that episode. By the way, we'll be recording it probably tomorrow. But once again, wrestling media is in the dirt. It's in the mud. You niggas and wrestling fans as a whole are most fickle people I ever seen in a day in my life.
This time?
So, of course, Vince McMahon is back.
Are you getting back?
Well, the man still owns the company. He owns majority of the shares. So he can finesse his way back, but he's only present to sell the company or to TV deal. So simple as that. People thought he's coming back to take the company over, but he technically, from what I've read, that's not why he's there. And yeah, whatever. Point being, so with that said, they about to sell. They just recently working with JP Morgan to help find a business partner to sell with. Wow, the bam. So literally not even 24 hours after that, there's a rumor that says they've been bought by Saudi Arabia. And niggas took it, ate it, panicked, cried all night, and did the fucking most. Meanwhile, people with common sense were sitting there like, full well, like, business transactions don't happen that way.
There's a lot.
No. Risk could have had this deal struck already with them.
There's a lot of shit that gotta happen for that stuff to happen.
Exactly. This is a publicly traded company that's worth billions.
That's a lot of stuff that has to happen, bro.
But wrestling fans don't go outside. Matter of fact, please tell me how this sounds. They don't go outside. I don't have the sound bite. I wish I did. But they don't go outside. They don't know what trees are. They don't even know what a fresh human body smells like, by the way. So they took it, ate it, ran with it to the point where legitimate people has to say this didn't happen. MSNBC had to say, we haven't even heard such a thing. And the fact that this got out, they look stupid for even reporting it and making it trend on Twitter to this level. I really just want wrestling journalists to take themselves and just realize you guys are nothing more but shade room, baller alert on a way lesser scale. And you look entirely fucking stupid. Please stop talking on things that you don't know about. Use your brains. Don't get such a very fickle fan base community riled up because they hate one individual for making what they love one of the biggest things ever, because he didn't make some nigga who is 5'5", 152 pounds world champion. Go outside, sniff some trees, please. Get some
crack. I heard crack is all the rage these days. Do crack.
I hate drugs.
The fact that you look just like them. But hey, get some pussy, please.
Oh, man.
Interact with humans. You know, take a shower, take a bath, get a washcloth. It might relieve the funk that's killing your brain cells of how the real world works.
Take a nap, read a book.
It's more out here than watching wrestling with subtitles at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Nothing but wrestling, bro. You just do nothing but wrestling.
That's all you taking in. I love wrestling too, but I get pussy. Get a life. Men and women. Because the women were even worse, I feel like. Freaking Ad and Roman Reigns tell him to leave. Find somebody to sit. Tired of these niggas, G. That's my clan.
Well, Dion got his favorite songs playing right now, bro.
My clown is my Hall of Fame clown goes to everybody who's responsible for making Velma. We already talked about that at length, but y'all some clowns for making that show. But my other clown of the week goes to Andrew Tate.
Oh man, that's this situation.
Bro, to say he self-snitched would be an understatement, bro. This man was the defense, the prosecutor, the jury, and the judge. Man, big ups to some of the news articles I read. Shout out to Ab and Preach for their video covering this topic, and the Romanian government going crazy, bro. So apparently, if you don't know the situation, they leaked some transcripts of some basically the stuff that Andrew Tate's get accused of, as far as the human trafficking, fraud to the government, and also committing fraud to his workers, his workers that were working for him. Even without those transcripts, the fact that this man has a full course of him recording himself literally going like, this is how I trick girls into doing cam work. This is how I trick girls so that I don't have to pay taxes. They have a transcript of him coercing a girl to move to go to, I forgot where it was, I forgot what country it was, but to go to this country with him off the premise that he'll marry her. So he's like, I'll marry you, but you have to promise you'll be mine and mine alone, blah blah blah. You can't go with any other man. And she was like, okay, if I come with you, are we gonna get married? He's like, yeah. And then when she came over to the country, he basically forced her to be a cam girl. They have transcripts on that. This man, it's a wild situation, but this man self-incriminated himself on ways that would make Tekashi 6ix9ine blush. like this, it is bad right now. Like off bat, like even regarding like even if you don't want to account for the human trafficking that he's charged with, they already off bat have proven documentation of him committing fraud to the government, because he admits that the only reason, because if you didn't know that Andrew Tate moved to Romania because he himself even admitted, because they have less strict laws, so he can make more money. He can make more money, and he can do things that he wouldn't be able to do to the where he was. I think it was in the United Kingdom. I think he was. So he literally said Europe. he admitted that Europe. He admitted that he would he went to Romania off the premise of that. So, and then he also admits that he has like these two chicks that work for him, in which he uses those two chicks. He calls them bottom bitches. His words. And basically
that's pimp terms.
Oh yeah. He uses those two chicks to coerce other chicks into working for him as a cam service. And there's also transcripts of those chicks threatening one of his workers. because she wasn't making enough money. So they had threatened her. They basically said like, punch yourself until we get there. I'm gonna punch you in the face, blah 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 blah, and like you better be lucky it's us, because if it was Andrew Tate, he would have threw you off the balcony. They have transcripts of that. So to say he's fucked would be an understatement. Like, this man, wow. If this is an example of how content creation from an ego standpoint can mess you up if you don't watch what you're saying on the internet, it is a lesson. Then take this Andrew Tate situation as a lessons learned. Watch what you say on the internet, bro. Just because you're making a certain amount of money doesn't inflate you to immunity when it comes to the law. Like, this man was proudly saying this stuff, like, yeah, I did this, this is how I commit fraud to the government, this is how I don't pay taxes, this is how I get these girls, bro. Like, in the way he was talking about girls especially, bro, because I don't want to like digress the topic, but like a lot of people like to play up the whole like Kevin Samuels misogyny and like equivalate that to Andrew Tate. No, I'm sorry, no. Because that's just disingenuous at that point, bro. Andrew Tate is, like, some of the stuff, like, I would recommend you watch the Abba and Preach video because they break it down, like, really well. But, like, some of the stuff he said about women, like, he was basically saying, like, never do business with a woman because they're stupid. He's like, I don't do business deals with women, and when it comes to making them sign off on stuff so I don't have to pay taxes, they're dumb, they're easy to manipulate. I use other women to make these women work for me. Like, the way he talks about women as like pure objects is ridiculous, to the point where the judge himself was like, I have to use this evidence against you in the court because the way you talk in these videos is how you are in real life. It's reflective of you. It's not an online personality. It's not an online persona. This is you. So we're going to use this evidence against you when it comes to incriminating. Like, it's this whole situation is crazy. So, but I got to give a clown to Andrew Tate for just I think he's the self-snitching master at this point, bro. I think he's one up Takashi, bro. Yeah.
This is way worse than Takashi.
Yeah, like way worse.
Way worse.
The transcripts they got on that man is insane.
That's great.
And this is the stuff that they leaked out, like the Romanian government. Like, the transcripts is what they leaked out, but the videos themselves you can find on your own. It's public stuff. It's a part of his course.
That's insane, G. Like, I just like, it's just the one thing I heard was he told somebody he enjoyed raping him. I was like, that nigga guilty off that alone. But like, fuck.
He done. But that's my clown. Did you want to do that Drake thing as your clown?
The Drake thing, by the way.
No, I'm not gonna do the Drake thing as my clown. I'm not an Aubrey Angel, so I don't have to defend that shit. But all I gotta say is, if you got any like Marvin's Room or freaking, I don't even know, like any like uber popular Drake songs in your top 10, but you put them at your 5, I'm just saying you're not a real student of the game of rap. You go back and start listening to Mobb Deep, KRS-One, start listening to African Bambaataa, whatever that nigga name is.
That nigga's a pedophile, by the way.
What you say?
African Bambaataa was a pedophile, by the way.
Never mind.
Damn.
And then you can listen to a mastercraft in rap by the name of Drake after you do that. But all jokes aside, whoever made that top 15 list and had headlines in the top 10, I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I grew up listening to that light-skinned dude that hid his child from the world. But I will never have headlines in the top 10. More niggas need to listen to views. More niggas need to listen to the care package. You know what I'm saying? Real music, man. If you ain't got 5 a.m. in Toronto in your top 5, I don't know you.
5 a.m. Toronto's like peak Drake rapping. Well, it's up there.
But other than that,
I need a one dance.
I ain't got no. One dance over Controller is crazy. One dance is not a bad song, but Controller is a better song.
It wasn't. It was that one. It was God's Plan.
God's Plan being in the top whatever is crazy. It's a successful song, but if you go on your phone and you like, bro, I'm about to listen to God's Plan right now, and that bitch ain't pop up on shuffle.
God's Plan hasn't even popped up in my shuffle in a long time.
I don't have it downloaded.
I don't have that song downloaded either, bro. I do not like when it came out at the time. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool music, but like I call it the second coming of Back to Back, bro, because they used to play that all the time. Like,
difference is Back to Back had legitimate reasons. That was a
Back to Back was fire.
Back to Back was fire. But I went to Kenwood. And they had they had a public like radio that would play during certain parts.
Well, God's Plan is a safe song.
And Back to Back was played every single day. I hated that. And when God's Plan came out, that was the next thing. I was like, okay, I'm tired of this shit.
God's Plan was a different level of like you're gonna hear a Drake song, like that was up there with Hotline Bling. You couldn't escape it.
Oh yeah,
escape it. But that list, I was like, okay, it's insane, but it is what it is. But let's go ahead and wrap this episode up. We appreciate you guys for watching, listening. If you watch us on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. You Tweeking Media, all our content. Be on the lookout for more. If you are listening to us, whether SoundCloud, Apple Pod, Spotify, Google Pod, whichever platform, we appreciate you. Continue to listen. Above all, share. Let one person know so that one person know that they rock with us. And then on top of it, they can let more people know. Or mass share, either or. But make sure you tell people, hey, them Black Otaku boys, they funny. They speaking that truth, that real. Let the people know, G. But either way.
I'm trying to get writing credits so I can write for Velma.
By the way, I did look at the writing credits for that. Yeah.
I'm just saying if they can write a show, I can write a show. So I'm trying to get the right credits.
Yeah, so help us out with that. But you know what it is. Make sure you let the people know. Follow us on Twitter at the Black Otakus. You know what it is when it comes to that. If you look at my Velma tweet, I hope it don't go viral. But if it do, I don't give a fuck. That shit was ass. I'm gonna continue to say it's ass. I need my hour back. Simple as that. But we appreciate you guys for listening, and peace.